Let me begin by saying, ah, America, is there some reason that none of your automated factories, full of the robots which you replaced us with, can build and sell a bicycle for $120 MSRP? Is it greed? Is it an unwillingness to undercut an already heavily outsourced industry? Or are we just more concerned with making money off from people than making stuff for people in exchange for money? I should be careful. Those are stupid hippie questions. This is what city folks need. Something as immensely useful and bombproof as it is unassuming, inconspicuous, and time-consuming for thieves to nab. Nothing is quick release. Nothing has a popular badge for resale.
Gaze upon what India has done with steel.
But ignore the dog hair in my living room. It hides until I put the vacuum away.
Do admire the styling, the practicality, the simplicity, and the fine welded beads of this bicycle. 28 pounds of quality steel, plastic, and rubber. A 48 by 16 tooth drivetrain. A flip-flop hub. Fixed gear or freewheel. 700C wheels, an 18.5-inch frame that for whatever reason is slightly larger than my 19.5-inch Trek. It's solid, even under my weight, which far surpasses the suggested 275-pound weight limit for the bicycle. India for the win. This is one of Walmart's cheapest bicycles, the Concord Envoy, built by Hero Ecotech Ltd of India in retailing for $128. Cheaper still if Walmart has logistics issues, which they did. India made art. America could barely deliver it. This was my second attempt at ordering the bicycle. On both occasions, it went through a period of being lost in processing. My second order got through most of the shipping process before vanishing in an unknown crevice here in Painesville. It arrived here on the 14th, traveled back to Middleburg Heights, Ohio, and then returned to Painesville on the same day where it sat at an undisclosed black site of a subcontracted shipping firm listed as Pilot Freight. Maersk of Trinidad concocted the shipping scheme. Maersk and Walmart produced some detailed tracking information, excluding, of course, where it sat for a week. Painesville is only 7 square miles. A 6-day transit time seemed a bit excessive and didn't inspire a lot of confidence that it would actually show up on my doorstep this or any other time. The situation did, however, result in an excellent private sale fine, which is a story for another video. Suffice it to say, I had become convinced that the delivery issues were part of a larger conspiracy to keep me off of 700C wheels. Alas, I shall not complain further, as it worked out in the end. The bike did arrive, albeit in an unmarked truck, and left beaten and bruised on the side of the house like an 11th hour concession in a shady black market exchange. I wasn't even aware my property had an alley for Alibaba to leave a rocket launcher, crate of rhino horns, or a couple trafficked humans. Who knew? Anywho, I got a $10 off coupon code for the first lost delivery, and the second bike did arrive mostly intact, save for the included tools needed to put it together, a misaligned stem, some loose spokes, and a front wheel that needed trued up. Let's unbox it, put it together, fix what needs fixing, and then zip down the road. In short, I'm amazed just how much the big-name bicycle manufacturers are screwing us all over. Don't believe me? Go pick one up, if you can find one. It's the Model T of bikes. I wouldn't be surprised if your regional oligarchy eventually outlaws them. Moving on. Every good story begins at some other journey's end. Welcome home, my little envoy. Box, packaging, hole in box where the included tools likely fell out, bike and packaging. Front brake cable pinch bolt nut that I'd find on the floor later. Seat and manual. Assembly instructions. Snip, snip, slap. The bike seat clamp tightens with a 5mm Allen wrench. And bike stand. It's well packaged. Because I only glanced at the manual, I first attached the handlebars to the stem. OCD eventually kicks in, I quadruple measure, and then bust out the paint marker. Use a crisscross bolt tightening pattern. If you're a taller person, you might want to consider buying a longer stem or switching up the bars. The manual has torque specifications, but you'll need your own torque wrench. Stem to top tube bolts are 5 mm, not 4 as the manual states. Make sure the stem is straight. Mine wasn't. Stem to handlebar bolts are 4 mm. Both sets are torqued to 53 to 71 inch-pounds, or 6 to 8 nanometers. I was unsure of the plastic pedals while learning about the bike during the shopping and research process, but after the test drive, I'm a fan. They're more than wide enough, have nice pins for traction, and are lightweight. I stood on them without issue. The flats are 15 mm, tightened to 350 to 400 inch-pounds, which is 40 to 45 nanometers. It's a 1/8 to 1/2 chain, and the inside diameter of the threaded flywheels are 34 millimeters. It comes with fixed and freewheel versions of a 16-tooth rear ring. Larger rings of the same size are sold on Amazon. I picked up a 14-tooth on Amazon for under $10 that should let me hit 45 miles per hour provided I can achieve 100 RPM on the pedals. I'll let you know how that works out. I had to manhandle the front forks a bit to get the wheel on. Off camera, I pulled the bike off the stand and inverted it just to make sure the rim seated in the dropouts. This proved an unnecessary step, but gave me peace of mind. Both sides of the axle have lock rings that drop into machine holes. Tighten the wheel nuts to 200 to 220 inch-pounds. That's 22 to 25 nanometers. Fortunately, I found the front brake cable pinch bolt nut on the floor. They want that at the same 51 to 73 inch-pounds as your stem bolts. My front wheel was out of trim. The culprit was a few loose spokes, likely due not just to being banged around in shipping, but also due to how the rim was wire tied to the bike from the factory, with the pedal arm threaded through the wheel, like this. No matter, it only took a few minutes to true the wheel. It was a good excuse to sit down. The rear wheel was fine. I was unable to find a max PSI rating printed on the tire. The manual suggests 70 to 80 PSI. And now the short test drive. I was really impressed. Due to recent upgrades, my OG Trek 4500 now has a high gear ratio of 4.36 to 1, with a 48-tooth front and 11-tooth rear. The Concord Envoy has a 48-tooth front and 16 rear, giving it a ratio of 3 to 1. In other words, every complete revolution of the front chain ring will turn the rear ring 3 times. I wanted to go faster. If I can get a 14-tooth of a slightly different design to fit, I may go down to 12 in the future. At the very least, it'll make it harder for thieves to pedal away with it. My body is a bit sore this week, but I wasn't terribly uncomfortable on the bike. The handlebars need to be a bit higher for me, but I was able to maneuver it with confidence. The last time I was on skinny wheels was probably over 30 years ago on my older sister's once pride and joy, a 10-speed Huffy. This was a much better experience for me. Even back then, that Huffy would flex under my weight. Although I never wiped out, it scared me off road bikes early on. As you can see, in 4K, it was a short ride through wet conditions. The tires lent good traction, and the hefty rim brakes cinched down just as firmly as on my higher-end mountain bike. Maybe even a little more so, given the increased surface area of mating a wider rim to a wider brake pad. The ride was much too short to comment on the seat that other reviewers hated so vehemently. I didn't think it was too awful given my experience with stock seats. On occasion, while on vacation, I've purchased a cheap bike at Walmart to get around. It's an awesome way to see a place if you have the time to do so. Once upon a time, you could get a mountain bike at Walmart with a really awful seat. Whoever adopted the bike I left to a good home outside a hotel in Myrtle Beach knows what I'm talking about. Our bond exists outside of time and space. Speaking of time, we're out of it. If I want to have any hope of being blessed by the algorithm, I gotta wrap this thing up. Don't bother liking and subscribing. I'm sure Big Cycle and Big Auto are already teaming up to have me forcibly removed from YouTube. Don't believe the lies. I've never trafficked in humans, but I have flicked off several in traffic. I might even be flicking everyone off right now. You don't know, not for sure, and I'm sure that that's one of someone else's points. Anyway, good bike, much impressed. Go get one, you stupid hippies.